today, the Cardi Girls are having a day off. Oops, how do I get rid of that? The Cardi Girls are having a day off, and I'll just give people a few moments to come in. I'm going to show you some photos that I took of the actors in the play Marooned, which is what we're going to talk about today with Rohana. But I'll just start with that. I'm going to play our song Cure, and just as the people start to come in, and just play some songs. And this is from all the versions we used to do. I'll see you in a few minutes.
If I could be anything for you, I would be your cure. I'd pour light into your wounds to soak their poison into the potions of love, into the golden and smoldering potion of love. And as their darkness drained, I would tear apart your cage, molding the bars that held you into your destined wings, into your destined wings, flying above us all in your destined wings. And if from your flight you return, I would have sewn a blanket for you,
And before
cut fresh from the cure.
before I bring in Rohana, I'm just going to play this. This was from one of the actors who played it. His name was Chris. He's got a great story to tell too. But I asked him this question once when we were on the road touring Marooned.
About suicide. Well, because this
Oops.
hope, it's about life. It's about communication. You're probably thinking it's not intuitive in regards to you think it's about death, but this is about the saviour of life. It's a very warm, uplifting way to present a topic that just isn't spoken about, largely within society. So it really gets people talking about, gets the communication and the dialogue open. So it's not what you think it is, and it presents itself in a much better light. So it's a good play to be in, and it
Okay, they're just trip down memory lane, especially for me, and probably also for Rohana. Hey, Rohana, how you going?
Hi.
Okay, well, shall we just jump in and start about how this play
Yeah,
began?
so I'm just before, so when you started, this is what we're talking about tonight is the play Marooned, which because I'm assuming a lot of people perhaps don't even know what that is. So
that's correct.
So this is a play that Michael wrote, and we'll tell the story back in 2017, and it's been going for all those years on and off. But now I'm making it into a feature film. So that's what we're talking about tonight. But so yeah, let's go back to the beginning
And you're
and tell the
making it into a
story.
feature film. Why are you making it into a feature film? Why have you decided to take it from the stage to
well,
film?
so the play was written back in 2017 for a man called Guy May, who took his own life. He was a friend. He was an actor, and that's Guy there.
I wonder how to
And
get him up.
sorry, you're a bit low now. So
Oh.
you wrote the play very, very quickly, and the play had started as something that was just maybe just a memorial to him, and it was around men's suicide more, and it sort of got its own life, which is a strange thing to say about a play about suicide, but that is
Well,
actually what happened.
how
We
about,
started
no
in
offense, no
pardon?
offense, how about I tell the story of the writing, and then you take it from there as the producing. So
Yeah. Sure.
this is Guy May here. He was an actor. I think he'd been on a lot of like Home and Away or those things, and he'd been a really big star when he was young. But he had anxiety problems and stuff. He sort of got blacklisted a bit, and he called me one night when I was speaking to a friend, and said that he was suicidal. He texted me and said he was thinking of suicide. And I was on the phone to a friend who was just found out he's dying of cancer. And I didn't really know Guy. I knew him a bit. I knew him but I wasn't like great mates with him. And it was 2 a.m. I just finished work, and I sent him a text saying, "Look, why don't you try calling the helplines and stuff?" And I sent him that. Anyway, because he'd mentioned it before, I took it for granted he wasn't going to do it. I thought he was just being melodramatic, but he did. And I was so guilt-ridden that I wrote the play, and it literally didn't take me any time at all. I think if you put it together, it was like 8 hours. It's like here, but over a period of days. But the amount of time I worked in it, the first draft, it just poured out. But then I won't say what the play's about. We'll talk about it later. But then I gave the play to Rohana, and we'd already had a play on with a successful play with the Magnolia Tree, which was a heavy voting play, and it got us known. And then, can you remember when I gave you the play, what you said before you read it?
Yeah, I said, well, we've just put on a serious, heavy play. We need to have something light, but also no one's going to be interested in a play about suicide or something like that.
And that's what she said. So I said, because I really felt I'd written something unique, but it was only my interpretation. So I just asked Rohana to read it, and then she read it, and then she sat there in one sitting and read it. And then what happened?
I was obviously so moved by it, and wasn't what I was expecting. And I said, well, we have to put this play on. That's it.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's where you took ownership of the play, because if you hadn't have said that, the play probably would have never gone on. If you'd stuck to your guns and said we can't do suicide, the play would be sitting on my laptop still, or some computer hard drive. Instead, we put it on with all men, which originally was all men. I think here's a shot of it here. Oh, they're all behind me for some reason. And
I think we have to go put our thumbs down. Should I do that?
Yeah.
You got the shot?
Up here. So that was still in shot. Oh, there we go. So this is, it originally was all men, which was extremely rare for a modern play, to just have men. And they weren't parodies, they weren't caricatures. These were real characters. And the concept behind the play, the foundation of the play, is built on Tennessee Williams' line, "I always relied on the kindness of strangers." So what it is, you've got a strange room, and it's been in my head for a long time, a strange room, and a guy turns up, and we don't know their names, only their statistics. So someone called 1620 turns up, and I'll put it over here so you can see. 1620 turns up. That's all we know him about. And he's an office worker. He's in his 50s. That's all we just gauge that from what he's doing, and he finds out that he's just tried to take his life, and he thinks this could be heaven, but it's not heaven. It's actually a place where you register yourself as a failure. You failed at suicide. This is failed suicides, which is a lot of people in the world out there who hate hurdy words don't like that, but it's true. The word failure actually becomes a symbol of hope. So they're there. He's got 3 other people in the room with him. They don't know each other. They're not emotionally connected to each other. So the play actually starts quite light. It gets light really quickly. People are giggling. And what he does is it goes through a series of vignettes as we get deeper into these characters, and they have conflicts because they start realizing as the play goes on that they want to go back. And one by one, they really want to go back. And once that's why the word failure becomes hope. The hope, they're so glad they failed because that means they've got a chance to live again. And they start basically, 1620 is the one. He turns up broken and feeling worthless. And yet he's so determined to get back to his family. One by one, he cracks all of them open. And in the end, they're all come together. And that was the point of the room. The point of the room was for them to realize the one gift that God's gave us to get through everything was each other. And that's what they learn in the room. So it's quite a spiritual play that way. They come together at the end, and then they all start getting sent back. And then 1620 at the end, he's waiting to be sent back. He's absolutely a changed man. His sails are full of the second wind. He's got plans of what he's going to do. And if they feel he's got other plans, all the reasons that he took his own life are now gone. He is absolutely ready to just devour life and really start living. But then he finds out from the gods that his attempt has been successful, and he's not going anywhere. And that's what smashes people home. So instead of the play saying suicide is bad, it doesn't. It just tells a story, a raw, authentic story where 4 characters their wives get interwoven, and then at the end you all to go home because you really get to love the characters. You're all hoping they all go home, and one by one they do, and you're relieved. And then the audience sits there hoping, fearing the 1620 is not going home, but hoping he is. And when he doesn't, that just stuns the crowd, and that hits home the finality of what we're talking about with suicide. And the reason we don't know his name, what that does is you watch this ordinary man. He's not famous, he's not known for anything. We don't even know his name himself, but he does a Herculean effort to get back to his family, saves all these people in this room. He's an absolute hero, and then he's just lost to us. And it shows that the statistics go 6 men a day, but the play itself tries to show that every statistic is a human being, and everyone we lose leaves a great crater in our society, and that's what it gets home with the play. We see the worth of each individual that we lose, and so that's how it went. And you weren't even in it the first time, Rohana. You just produced it.
No, when it was just obviously, yeah, we did. That was quite a lot of shows when it was just males, yeah. Because yeah. And so, do you want me to go back to your question you asked me about why I'm making it into a film?
Sure.
So, the play has been on possibly around 90 plus times. We had it on at the MTC. We've had it on in country towns, and with the country towns came along, it was through having it on. Oh, I forgot about Frankston, having it on at the ABC. Because what happened was people would then call and say, "Can you bring this play here?" And they'd find a way of getting us there. They'd put the play on for free to the communities and get a small grant from Rotary or things like that. And I won't go into the army in that just yet, but that's even how the army came about. But so because the play has, every single time this play is on, audiences just stay and talk and have stories, and just they say these are relatable people, and they've been moved and they've laughed, and they're like, huh, I was laughing. And the one line that they all say is, you have to take this play everywhere. You have to get it everywhere. So
just to interject, Rohana, sorry. This is it. So this is an audience after the play is finished, and the MTC had us on at their place. The MTC allowed us to. They gave us a theatre for free, and allowed us to put it on there, and we did. And the MTC said, as soon as you finish, you got to get the audience out, and you got to race them off. I said, well, we can't do that because when the audience finishes, they want to talk. And I remember the guy running it said, no one ever stays behind by the play. They just race off. And well, so we warned him. So that was us. That was some of the cast outside the MTC, which is a Melbourne Theatre Company, which was a great privilege to be able to be there. And that was the theatre there that we had to fill. And what happened is exactly what we said happened. So what the play does, and here it is here, basically, I think Canberra is where it is. And we use seats, whatever seats we would find. These were seats from a cinema, an open air cinema. We use that. So that's all it's in the place is these seats. And so it was meant to be that it could go on in any town really cheaply. You didn't need a set. You didn't need great lighting. It was just one stage lighting. It was all about the story. And then afterwards, what would happen is, because it basically demystified suicide and saw that, okay, we can laugh and we can be human when we talk about it, and it let people talk. And that's what they did. They talked and talked and talked, not in a negative way, but not even positive. They just talked. And we were saying that you could go to a town and your suicide prevention groups, in every town has them, could use the play for getting more volunteers, for getting their work out there of what they're doing. So it was to help get conversations started. That's what the play was about. It was a conversational starter, and it just went nuts. I remember the first night we had it on, because Rohana and I were doing a theatre company with nothing, so we were very cheap. I was doing the lights, and I didn't know how to do the lights. I had all these switches.
We weren't cheap. We had no budget. Yeah,
but I had a pen to just bring all the lights down at once and push them up because I didn't know how else to do it. So I was there. But at the end of the play, when I went, the audience hadn't moved. They just had not moved. And then I went on, and there was people covered in tears. Suddenly people wanting to shake hands, hugging. Everyone was profoundly moved. One guy managed a major theatre. He bought it on the night. He said, I'm buying the play now, and took it to his theatre. And the other thing, too, about it is you didn't need named actors. This was one of our actors here. I hate how it does.
Well, I'm just going to say that was the Sale Theatre. That was a huge space, and he was in the front row and just said, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. So this was a guy called Chris, because we needed a big guy to play this character 379, and there was no big male actors around because they weren't needed in the theatre world. They didn't really exist. Anyway, he'd never done acting before. I think he'd done one play. He went on to do so many plays, and he was incredible. And people loved him, adored him. And then after him, Darren Mort took over. And Darren Mort is one of the best barristers in Australia. And he dresses up like a working class guy. And he's done numerous roles since, and he's brilliant as well. So you didn't need major actors to play the role. People would still come. So it was all set up because we knew it was going to be hard to get it on. So it was set up to be a cheap, artistic piece that could go town to town and get people talking. But you're saying you want to do a movie because even though it's that cheap, it's still too expensive to tour the play. Is that correct?
Well, the thing is, if I was to say, okay, I'm going to get this play everywhere, that would just be rest of my life trying to do that. And I believe that it takes, money, obviously. It takes, okay, then we need to get 4 people who are either 4 or 3 lots of 4s or whatever, who are all ready to go, and get a whole tour organized and hope that nothing happens to each of them. So, I mean, it's doable, but it's a big doable. And, you know, we don't know. Life is very precarious at the moment. We don't really know what's ahead. So this play has also been, you know, it's been used overseas. So I thought my gut has always been after, I'll tell you what happened. So one of the last productions, it was probably at the Alex Theatre. And what's happened with the cast, the last cast, is we've kind of been rehearsing ourselves, and we don't really feel we need to. We help each other. We just meet somewhere, and we keep doing it, and we give each other a little, you know, advice, this and that, and it's a really beautiful thing to actually feel that how deep we're getting with it. And we were rehearsing once in Darren's house because we had nowhere to rehearse, in just a small room. And because his family were there, we had to kind of be quiet. And it was just moments I thought, oh my God, imagine this as the film. You know, just getting right into the faces of these people, because when you're on stage, you know, you have to include everybody who's watching. But that's one reason. And then the other reason, obviously, is I can then fulfill what everybody's said, which is to get this play everywhere. It can become, it can be used in all the places it needs to be used. And one other thing is, there's a woman up in Colac, Laurie, and she saw the play a few years ago, quite a few years ago. And about 2 years after she saw the play, we found out that her son had taken his life in America. And I had a few Zooms with her, and we talked about what we should do. And we said maybe we should make the film. So now I can also do that. You know, I can get the film to America for her. But yeah,
can I just ask? So we're talking an independent film here, but because it all takes place in one room, it's actually could be quite cheap and quick to film, and especially because the actors are all rehearsed. And just going on about taking the play on the road, this was the same with the Brothers play. So if you're taking the play on the road, you've got to pay actors. Literally, they're on the road 24/7. You've got accommodation, their wages. You got to pay them for food. It's just not economically viable. And then you got to hire the places. So we did before COVID. It was just economically viable, and we scraped a living. We loved it. But now it's to get this play everywhere. So say you're in Catherine or Mount Isa or Karratha or Mildura, and you wanted the film brought there. It's like an Albie Mangles thing. You can get a town hall or a theatre, whichever you can get, put the film on, get the people to come, and then have tea and coffee and stuff waiting afterwards. You watch the play in one setting, the film in one setting, and then you talk. And that it just makes more economical sense to get this out there. And then, of course, if some bigger guys want to come and say, hey, let's put $1 million into this, make it a super big film, great. But at the moment, it doesn't need that. It could actually get away with being an independent film. So can I ask you,
I'm going to make
Rohana,
an amazing film, so don't worry. It's going to be
it's still amazing. But a lot of young independent films now are amazing because the character's there. So one thing though, Rohana, how much are you looking for? What are you really after, and what will you settle for?
Okay, so at the moment, I am just looking for a budget to shoot it. And like you said, there's 4 people in it. It's set in one location. We just need a small crew. I'm not even looking at the post-production at the moment and all those sort of things. And I've sort of come because I obviously want to pay everyone involved, and equipment and location and insurance and things like that. I'm starting around 80,000, 60 to 80, but it would be preferable to go for 80,000. And if I get more than that, amazing. And that will go into the next stage.
Okay. So, times are really hard now at the moment. So why should people either donate or invest in this? What's in it for them? I can see that you want this film made, but what's in it for them? Why should they help?
Okay, well, if you are a business, right, and you want to donate, you want to help, people have to pay for marketing as a business, right? So if you want to say, I support this particular film, which is doing a lot of good, which is actually saying something amazing and can do potentially help people, you can, anything from $1,000 will be noted on in the credits. If you want to go further and say to 5,000, even 5,000 and above, you are an official sponsor in my eyes, and you will then be marketed on everything like credits, all the media. If you want, you can come and talk about your association at events. You know, if it's something that's in the major cities and it's business that has their productions in the major cities, they can have a representative come and talk about why they're associating with it. On a smaller scale, if you just want to put your money into something that is really, really good, I don't mind if it's $20 to, you know, whatever. Every little bit will help me get this. And I think the reason why I need to do it is not because I think I want to be in it and I want to make it, because I just think suicide, and I can go into that in a huge way, bad mental health and suicide is rife in the world, and it's getting worse. So it's something that we have to talk about, and people don't talk about it as much. And charities won't talk about it, even though that's what they're sort of set up to do. And I've been speaking to a lot of people recently, and you know, I could go into some stories there, but I'll wait. I've spoken to, like, there's, yes, yeah.
Can I just make a suggestion? A lot of people out there have lost people to suicide. Now, if you lose someone to suicide, the person dies twice. Now, one, they die when they take their own lives. I know people say, "Oh, you can't use that language," but they take their own lives. They die. Then they die a second time because very few people want to talk about them. So it's like they vanish. And so the other thing we were talking about, I was suggesting to you, is that if, say, people put in $1,000, then and they've lost someone, in the credits there will be the name of the person they've lost. So its name, even maybe the photo, like photos could come up, but these are people we're sort of bringing them not back to life, but bringing them back in a way that what they've done is now being used to try stop other people doing it. So it gives some purpose to their loss. And so that could be a way too, you know.
That's right. And names, actually, putting a name gives it something more than just, you know, there was this many people. I mean, we did try that at one point where we got people to bring photos. The other thing I'm going to do, and I've already spoken to a few people, and it's like I've got a list of people waiting, is I want to do little, not interviews, but little you know, interviews, I suppose, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of people who want to talk about their experiences. Now, one woman approached me. She said, "I'm a survivor of suicide, but it was just swept under the carpet. I've never talked about it." You know, that's the pain she's living with. I met a woman in the park recently. Her husband took his life. Every day I meet someone else who knows someone, and I've got a lot of people. I think if I could just get them to tell their story. My friend Gio, who came to see the play, I sent her a message to say it was on. She said, well, it's ironic because I attempted to leave the Matrix 2 weeks ago, and she came to the play. Wow. And she said it was cathartic, and she helps me. She comes and goes because she still suffers from she's got bipolar, and she suffers from, you know, she withdraws a lot, but she believes it's a really good thing that I'm doing. And a lot of people who have lost people or who don't know so many people who've attempted, but survivors of suicide and people like Felicity.
Can I just bring up something else, Rohana? Let's talk about how, because not only was the play, so we did an interview on the ABC and everything went crazy. People started calling us from country towns. They wanted the play going to country towns. So literally the first night it was on, it got bought. We ended up getting standing ovations in some towns, which stunned. Tell us about when you got a standing ovation in Colac the first time you had on. What was that like to have a full house standing ovation?
Well, see, I mean, it's always amazing, I suppose, to get a standing ovation but with this play, you just think you just know you've hit a nerve. You know you've hit the right thing. You just know sorry, I'm looking at the comments. You know you're doing something right, and it's doing something good. So that was amazing when that happened. Absolutely. But yeah, just another proof that what it's doing.
Now, the other thing happened is the Australian Army reached out to us, and they wanted to see the play. And what they said is they'd used every other program that had been offered them, and the soldiers weren't listening. They weren't interested. And they didn't. It wasn't the soldiers that had a suicide problem. It was as soon as the soldiers left the army, they had a high suicide rate. And so the Australian Army started touring the play. I think we did two or three. No, we did the Canberra. We did the one in Sydney.
They heard you.
Randwick.
She heard you. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is who I'm getting back in touch with.
So we actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just finish this bit. So we finally performed in Canberra to the Chief of Army, and all these heads of state, now all the big guys in the army. You know, so, and we were actors. So it was like two armies coming together. This sort of ratbag, the artists, and the army. You know, I remember trying my arm wanted to salute all the time. And I was thinking, don't salute, you won't know what you look like. It was really, but he actually said, the Chief of Army said, we've never used theatre to try solve the problem like this. And then basically they loved it. And so the army told me that they were going to tour it to all their bases. They said, pack your bags. We just got to figure out whether we're going to make it voluntary or mandatory. If they'd made it mandatory, which is the first time I'd heard the word, we were actually going to do very well by it. And this play was going to go everywhere because the army was just giving it the seal of approval. But then COVID hit and shut us down. 2 days later, all the theatres shut down. So we came that close. But what did the Chief of Army say? Because the Chief of Army came to this performance. I'll just bring it up. Where is it? I did say, here it is.
Well, while you're looking.
It was in a pub.
No, he was the army psychologist. I've got the quote right here. But what I was just going to quickly say was, back at the barracks, so the psychologist heard your interview and said, I need that play for the military. And there we were in the barracks in St Kilda, and they were blacking out the windows. They made everything.
Right.
They stayed. We had to come onto the place through security and everything, and we had 2 showings, and they sat there absolutely silent. Remember?
I know. Yeah, I was there, babe.
It's a shitty little stage. We had nothing. But probably bad lights. But so from there, the Chief of Army invited us up to Canberra, and there we performed in the bar up there.
It was just like a meeting room or something. There was no lights, there was no anything. We still blew them away. Yeah. That was the part of the play. Had
VIPs. They'd flown in from everywhere.
Yeah. They spent a fortune getting people there. Just want to bring this up though. So we used to perform in pubs. So this is in the Palace Theatre, and we performed upstairs because the Palace Theatre wasn't using it, and they'd have a Tuesday night. They'd fill up downstairs because people come to see the play. They'd all have meals. Yeah, hotel. They'd fill up and then they'd come upstairs and watch the play, and they'd bring their beer, and we'd take the ticket price. But this is where the Army's chief psychologist was flown down to basically watch the play here. And we were thinking, oh my God, he's not singing in the MTC, he's singing in a pub. It's bad lighting, it's bad sound, it's bad seats, because we were just using any seats we could find in the pub. And yet in the morning,
noise from downstairs coming up.
Yeah, coming from downstairs, the thing. So what was the quote that he said?
So the lieutenant
Audio bottle, Stephen.
Army
Simon.
psychologist said Marooned is a revolution in suicide prevention because it entertains and holds an audience's attention, and while it powerfully conveys its message, it manages to leave you feeling uplifted. I didn't read that very well.
And that was it. So if you Google Marooned, I think Sydney Morning Herald, they've got a great review there. We went to Sydney, blew people away, and it was an amazing time because it just changed people. And I think what it was everybody, like myself, everybody thought suicide, it's just dark, there's no light there, you can't go into it, there's no point. And so the idea was, well, what if you talk to people who'd actually done it? Like Simon said, the people who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, as they were falling, they suddenly changed their mind. And that was the seed idea for the play, Simon, because Rohana's character was a jumper. And so this is it. And it starts like this. I don't know if we should bring this up, but I have it said here.
Are you talking about from the play? Because I don't think it always translates very well, So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I totally agree.
Well. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have beautiful, the way I see this film, and I've just put some stuff up there about where you can donate if you feel inclined. I see just keeping it really raw, just dealing with the dark, with the light, with the sounds of nothing. And I'm going to film it in bleach bypass, which I've learned is the beautiful effect of, it's not like stark, but it will have it will have an effect of not quite here, but it is here. And I just think you don't need anything else. So that's why I'm looking for the space is so important. And today I went to a library because somebody in the street, this psychologist, therapist, she said, have you tried libraries? Because underneath the libraries, they're going to have something. So I went to the Port Phillip Library and had to come back to speak to the team leader. And she's booked me in to see underneath on Friday. But, I just want to see today. Can't I just see it? But no, couldn't. And even that's exciting. There is a place of potential we have got over in Box Hill North, but it's a little bit far and a bit. That was. Look, to be honest, Simon, that's absolutely possible down the track, but at the moment, that sort of goes into needing all kinds of things on board to work that out for every production. Blah 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 blah. I'm just pretty much doing this on my own with a couple of people every now and again helping. And come back to me if you want to talk to me about that as well then, because, maybe the budget will even get to be bigger. But I'm open to everything.
Just keep it simple. Just to get it simple, though, around the world in other countries, not America, they do make films very cheaply, really good films. And this one, because it's been rehearsed so well, literally could be done cheaply like this. And in a way that it doesn't look cheap, it actually looks terrific, but it could be done cheaply. The editing, I'm an editor. There's lots of editors that could edit this together. The editing wouldn't be that hard to do. The only hardest thing would be the audio. So, how are you going for? You'd need camera guys, audio guys. How are you going with that?
Well, as I said, I've just put the thing up around that. So I have, through Beck Smith, who is a makeup artist, she suggested a camera guy who she's a DOP, who she's worked with. And I've talked to him and his stuff is lovely. So he's got a team. This is at the moment, right? So he's on board. And I only want people on board who get back and with passion and everything. I've spoken to lots of people, and I spoke to one woman about coming and sort of working as a co-director. I don't know if she's going to do it. She hasn't come back after seeing everything. So, they've got
also,
to really...
it wouldn't take you... Sorry.
What you just were going to say there, exactly. I'm looking at 4 or 5 days filming.
I think
That's
you
it.
probably myself. You probably need a bit more because they're in. All right. Well, you decide. I'm not going to
Well,
argue with
we've
you now.
talked about it, and
But-
I've talked with the DOP. But if it goes to more, it goes to more. But
well, the thing is, it's in a series of vignettes. So one day could be shooting each vignette, and there's about 8 vignettes. So anyway, but even 2 weeks it still could be done. And like Simon says here, you could get someone to come in and say, "Hey, let's make this for real." Maybe some rich person who's lost a child or a father or someone who might want to do it that way. So that's possible too. But I think what it is, there's an audience waiting. This play is it probably won't get into theaters because of its controversial nature. But
disagree.
Okay, sure. But then what I'm saying, even if it does get in the theaters, fantastic. If it doesn't, it can still support itself because it can go to town to town to town to town. And in the UK, tell us about what's happening with the UK.
Okay. So I'm talking to psychologists and psychotherapists in the UK. It started with the Windsor Walk. They wanted this piece, so they got some very well-known actors and a well-known director, and they sat on a stage, and it was during the time when they couldn't do any much anyway because of the lockdown stuff, and they read it and they filmed them reading it, and then they've been using that to tour all over the UK to teach psychiatrists, psychologists, nurses even, how to talk about suicide, how to deal with suicide. And it's been very useful. And now I'm talking to Scotland, far north Scotland, far north. What is it? Oh, up there. Anyway, I was talking to them the other day, and they are really excited about it. As in they think this could, with the potential that what it could do. There's a really, really high suicide rate there, and one of them's a director, actor, and psychologist, and he. We've been talking about, should we give you the play and you do it and you make that and take it around, or it's too expensive to bring people over, but if I get the film down the track, you could swap to that. And I'm going to make this the best I can, but that's not even a good thing to say. I'm going to make this amazing. So I think it's more about what the subject is rather than whether it's a blockbuster or a bloody, Hollywood, whatever. To me, that's immaterial. Some of the best films are raw and real and independent. Look at those ones in Ireland there all those years ago with the bands stuck in they were just, we wanted to watch them because they were real. So theatres, you're talking about cinemas, yeah. And I will try and get it into cinemas. I mean, I started watching a film recently, and I can't remember what it was called, like Countdown or something. And the first scene was someone actually showing them hanging themselves.
Oh yeah, it's quite common now. I know the Australians don't like it, but we live in anyway. So this is it. So basically, if they want to, can I say there's if they want to read the play, they could get in contact. If people want to read the play first, usually when people read the play, they're just stunned. It's very easy to read. The other thing too, I think on my Substack, there is a filmed version of the play. Unfortunately, filmed versions of the play don't come across well, but you can still get a grasp of it and see how it could be filmed to give a sense. It's been on 90 times.
Well, you can trust and listen, and because I think.
Well, I apart from the ones you do now, which I'm not a part of, but in the ones I did, and I think I did up to 80, and I used to take Guy May with me, his picture everywhere. I mean, when he had the standing ovation, I remember showing him and go, "There you go, mate." He was an actor, and so what was I saying? It stuns people. It really does. The other thing too. It has a humor to it, but the humor is very Australian, and it throws people, but they love it. And the best way to communicate the humor is there was a big flood somewhere in Australia, and an SES guy looked at a car which was basically perched up on a light pole, and he just went, "Oh, you can't park there, mate." That's the humor. It's this laconic Australian humor that comes from all sides. Now, I want to talk about some of the things inside, because storytelling, you have to give your characters basically obstacles to get by. So when 1620 wants to get back, first off, he gets 134, the young fella on side, but then he's got to save you. And I actually want to play this bit just to show. This is 1620. First off, he's trying to reach 379. I'll talk you through it.
Don't you touch me, all right?
So there's no way that guy is going to open up to this guy. So at some point, this mild-mannered guy has to take on the bear.
Don't.
And that adds the tension to the piece.
What about you? Was it money?
I wish.
You rich? She's rich. You're rich?
Not rich.
But not poor. You're rich?
Why? Would money have stopped you?
Stop me? It would have saved me.
Oh, that's what you think.
No, it's what I know.
Have you ever read Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath?
So Rohana's character is rich.
Can we not have
And it's really important. And what's really interesting is this man here, 1620, can't understand why she's here, because she's rich. If he'd had money, he would have paid off his mortgage, taken his kids on a holiday, everything. He's really convinced that wealth would have fixed him.
Anyone else who's listening?
Don't want to hear. I'm
that there's
going.
I know you
nothing
disagree
there.
with this, Rohana, but you're not trying to get people to come
California.
see the play, you're trying to get them to invest.
This is
Rohana
a
doesn't like
different
sitting for long
form
periods of
of
time.
what's behind.
No, I don't like looking at myself.
So you don't find there's
Okay,
nothing
well, look
good
away.
about being
I'll put you off.
Oh, that's exactly what she's implying.
Where are you?
Yeah, well, I wasn't heading to California. I was heading nowhere.
But then it gets up to this twist here. Let me see. Here.
Beautifully. In a room full of blind people, how do you spot the psychiatrist? They're the one holding the map.
So in a room full of blind people, how do you spot a psychiatrist? They're the one holding the map.
You are a psychiatrist? What?
And then this mild-mannered guy has a major problem. How does he save a psychiatrist? It's like a drowning man trying to save a drowned lifesaver. And he cements that. He manages to save her. And there's this beautiful moment in the play where Rohana's character says, even though all she does is listen to people's problems for a living, she says if she goes to a cafe every morning and they know her so well, she doesn't have to order her food. Do you want to say the line, Rohana, or do you want me to say it?
No, they know me so well.
Sorry, were you going to do it?
They know me so well, I don't even have to order. They just bring it to me. In all the world, I've never felt more at home, more something.
In all the world, you never feel anywhere so at home. You feel at home in this cafe because they know you so well. And yet, if
I had succeeded, then tomorrow they'd all be going, What happened? Did she say anything to you? And she
just
was
stop there.
drunk.
Don't go the rest. Okay, I didn't want you to say that line. Anyway, but the thing is, no one knew why she did it. And when she sits down, and 1620 is still pissed off because she's rich, but then she says, the only people who know while I'm here are already here, meaning the only people who know why she took her life are actually in the room. And 1620 sits with her, sits next to her, and then goes the same. So even though she's wealthy, and even though he's basically just struggling middle class, he realized they are exactly the same. And this is the point of the play. The play is basically going, the gods gave us one thing to get through everything, and that's each other, if we can find how we connect. So they don't fix each other's problems, but by just
Exactly.
talking openly, without fear of being attacked, without fear of saying the wrong thing, they all come back from the edge, and all of them are ready to have another crack at living. And that's the point of the play, that we don't need so much antidepressants. We don't need all these things. We just need each other to give a shit about each other. And this can help us. I'm not saying it'll be the only thing that can help us, but it's that was the point of the play. And
Now, I have so I talk to everybody now. I just talk to everyone, and that's how I've come across some people who have lost people. I was sitting in the park yesterday talking to this woman who has lost her husband with this therapist and everything. And today I've had a conversation with, and I'm going to say his name, Phil, who lost his son in New Zealand, and he's going to give some money. He's going to give a substantial amount. So I'm so grateful. He came up to see my brother. He's the gorgeous man that drove Liz all the way from where he lives to and he's and also this other man, I don't know if he wants me to say his name. I had a conversation with him last night, who's going to do oh no, I will, Mr. Hartz. He's going to help by donating some of all of the once he sells it, the next 832 gathering, to the piece. And he's got struggles. He's got stuff, and I've got stuff. I've been surrounded by, my relationship with you, Mark Griffith, not the fact that you were taking your life, but people who have mental health problems, especially bipolar. It can be a genius, it can be an amazing thing, and it can be a very hard, obviously, hindrance. And a lot of people who have this take their lives. So we've got to keep making everyone realize that they're important. And oh gosh, no, Phil was telling me about copycat. There was a copycat situation with all these kids, like 16 of them. They made a decision. It wasn't copycat. They made a pact. So how young people, I absolutely believe the young people are struggling beyond anything from these last 5 years and probably before, but specifically the last 5 years. Jess knows kids that her kids who've taken their lives. And if we can get to them, there's one young person in this play, but it's not that. It's more just the whole principle and the premise of what the piece says. That this, like you've been talking about.
Yeah. Well, let's. I think everyone has to look. Let's get back to the positive. So it's a very cheap to film this. It could go to every town. So people did invest, or if they've lost someone and they invested or they donated on behalf of who they'd lost, and that person or them are named in the credits. If it does go around, because I remember the play doesn't put people down. There's no caricatures. So when I was in Sale, where we had a guy turn up, and I remember he watched it, and he came up to me later and he went, "Mate, I've never seen a play in my life, but I'm coming to see everything you do because that was fucking brilliant." And he really was moved by it. And so the play can reach working class people. It can reach middle class people. I remember Rohana's character is very well to do. And yet we had one woman came out after the play. And this is what would happen. I remember we were at one theater. I'm doing the tickets at the first, and everyone's a bit off with me because they don't want to see a play about suicide. They know it's going to be heavy and shit. In the intermission, which it isn't. In the intermission, they're a bit lighter, and they're going, "Wow, man, this is really interesting." At the end, they're completely changed, and they're really realizing, "Oh my God, we can talk about this." And this gets to the power of art. And so this is why it's seen as revolutionary, because it goes into the storm, it goes into the darkness, and it finds light. And the light in the darkness of suicide is us human beings who want to live. We just go through hard times, but we can get through it. And so you could be a part of something that could literally be popping up and going around town after town and because it's a film, that means if you get 10 people coming, it's okay. It's financially viable. With actors, it's not financially viable. So it makes it that it doesn't need funding. It can propagate itself. It can look after itself. Now, it would be great to go to Beyond Blue, but Beyond Blue told us they won't fund anything unless they're there from the conception right the way through. They won't fund anything that's already been done, even though it's done 90 performances. It's been the MTC, full houses. Even though it's in the UK now, they're getting ready to redo it as a play or something. The Army's touring it. I mean, it's just kicked accolade after accolade. It's got
And can I
things
just talk
coming.
about the quality?
Yeah, but
of
just
the
to finish,
piece?
but that's the thing. The idea is to get this play out, and it just can go everywhere, and it just gets Australians talking about this terrible problem that we have.
But I want to talk about the quality of it, because it is not a preach. There's no preaching in it. It's not like, heavy, oh my God, we're going to go see something about suicide. It's an entertaining piece, and people laugh, and the writing is brilliant. That's the truth.
Thanks, babe.
It's poetic, it's beautiful. I mean, I love doing it because some of the lines and the where the characters get to is just extraordinary and moving. I mean, I listened to the pig scene is, people could use that as a monologue, but it's just real things. That pig scene is about this man having a connection with his father for the first time ever. He never felt like he was good enough.
If they want to see it, they can see it. Yeah, it's hard to.
I know. I'm just saying it's beautiful moments like that I'm talking. That's why it's raw and entertaining. Yeah, I'll shut up.
And it's funny. It's funny. People
And Jan
really
Murphy.
laugh, and some nights we have nights where they laugh all the way through it and love it. Like when we took it to Sydney, we were in an RSL, and totally. I think this was here. So we're in this RSL. I'll bring this up because this was funny. Here it is. So we're in an RSL in Paddington. This is coming up now. There it is. So we had to use their seats, were just shitty seats. We had shitty lighting. I mean, we had disco lights, and the crowd was there, but there was people in the crowd. There was Bruce Beresford was in there. It's first time it was first time he saw one of my plays. So David Williamson sent me an email after this saying congratulations, because everyone was raving about it. We did 2 performances, but what was really interesting was how they laughed, because the first few scenes seem to be a bit strange. Nothing happens, and yet what they do, because they're bored, they're waiting there. This is before 1620 turns up. It basically breaks down the shields on people. And that's what I realized. If you can break down the shields, if you can see people going, okay, it's not going to be too heavy. It's not going to demand me to, it's not going to be too melodramatic. They relax, and then they get to meet the characters, and they fall in love with the characters, and then they're laughing. And then the more they get to know these characters, and because the characters don't know each other, they're just people. As they get to know the characters, then they start to get concerned that they're not alive, that they're all dead, or some of them are dead. And that is the hook, the tension that keeps you watching, and that works night after night. So it's a very simple premise, but anyway, look, it just works. We proved it.
If it's bought by, say, a group, and they use it as an event, that's a big thing they can do. So they can have psychologists on hand, they can have the charities there with their tables, they can have people to talk about things afterwards, which is what we did when we went to the country towns. All
right. So how do in the show notes you've got a cultural fund, which is I think a government run GoFundMe where you literally get all the money. So there's a cultural fund there in the link. Yes, Rohana.
Just talking about the government. So the government, they do have this guideline thing, but to be honest, I got a grant in December to take the play to the farmers in Colac, and unfortunately, and this is another reason, the farmers didn't get there because we had an audience, but the farmers couldn't get there because
it rained and they
with
had
farming,
to do the harvest.
so it rained, and afterwards they had to do the hay. Yeah, they had to do the harvesting. So it's perfect reason to go up in Colac. Andrew has a film night. Here we go. Put the film on.
Yeah. So anyway, this is that's right. They could hold it. They could put the film on later in the night. So it just makes it more user friendly. And this is it. So this is what we're putting out there. If anybody wants to help and get in touch with Rohana, and she'll need a small group to get it done. So she's got the actors. Yeah.
It's tax deductible. Everything's tax deductible over $2.
Is that with the cultural fund?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's important. If you donate to the cultural fund, everything you donate is tax deductible. So if you have lost someone to suicide, you'd like their name on this piece. So if it's going around, the person you lost is, they are part of this, is saying, I've lost someone, so I don't want to lose anyone else. Anything you donate to this cultural fund is 100% tax deductible. Excellent. So that's one way of going forward. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're giving.
Well, I wish. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
That's it?
I have nothing.
Well, you've done very well. You've done very well. And for people who don't know, Rohana and I were together for 23 years. So this
Probably
is the first time we've done it.
21.
Okay.
There was a few questionable years. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, everything was questionable.
But
this was an extraordinary thing. We did a lot of projects together, but we never had a project that had its own destiny. And Marooned has its own destiny. From the first time, it was every time I gave it to an actor to see they wanted to be in, they went apeshit over it, Yeah. And then when it was on, from the first night it was on, it just stunned people, and it just let them see the power of art, the power of courage, the courage to speak. We've got this thing where everyone wants us to be silent, but and the guy in the 379, he's a knockout, a larrikin, and the audiences love him. Night after night, they loved him. And we had lots of psychiatrists tell us that, psychologists and stuff tell us it was a revolution. They'd say they couldn't tell it publicly because, you had to go through all these filters, but privately they actually said, this is a revolution. This is something new. Yeah, it's no wonder she rolls her eyes like, yeah, Simon, you marry her. You put up with it.
I have a bad habit, actually, with that. But yeah, that's...
Yeah. Well, I got more bad habits. Yeah, anyway, it's great to have you on, Rohana. Thank you so much. Okay. And I help you any way I can. Yeah, and we got a choice. We can go out with the end.
Oh, I just want to say I'm looking to make this at the end of February, early March. So, I've got lots already behind me, and I'm not hardly working, so I have to make work. That's the thing. I don't really hardly work, so this is my work.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Okay, I'm going out with Chris talking about it, and then the thing. So the What the Fuck Boys will be up soon. Yeah, no worries. I totally wish you the best, and I'll help you any way I can, Rohana.
Thanks.
And like I said, this play would never have done the things it had done without Rohana. It was only her as a producer. First, she said to me, "No, we can't put this on." And I just said, "Can you please read it?" And then she read it and said, "We must put this on." And she's been doing that ever since. So that's why I've given her the play. It's no longer mine. I've given it to Rohana. And so if you can help. Yeah, but it's your play. Give me an accolade for that. It's pretty cool.
No, of course. But I'm saying...
Give me one accolade.
So we don't want to go into that, do we?
Well, nothing else to give you.
We have to become judge jury.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, this is Chris. Chris played 379 for about 70 roles, I think. He was magnificent. He never acted before, but he used to nail this night after night. And people used to just adore him. He played... and so, yeah, so if you want to read the play, get in contact with me. I'll send you copies. You can read it. And I'll see if I can find a version online. I think I've got an audio version. And if you get in touch with me, say I want to hear the audio version.
Audio. Yeah.
I'll share you the audio version so you can hear that. Okay. And apart from that, good luck. Brave thing, good luck, but you are gutsy. So
look out, everyone. And thank you so much. And hi, Diane. You need to talk to me, Diane. Thank you, everybody. Watching.
No worries. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, because this play in particular is about hope. It's about life. It's about communication. You're probably thinking it's not intuitive in regards to you think it's about death, but this is about the saviour of life. It's a very warm, uplifting way to present a topic that just isn't spoken about, largely within society. So it really gets people talking about, gets the communication and the dialogue open. So it's not what you think it is, and it presents itself in a much better light. So it's a good play to be in, and